Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at DeepSeek, a company that's been making some serious waves in the AI world.
Yeah, they've been quietly developing some really impressive AI models that, are not only high performing, but also super affordable,
Mhm.
giving those big names a real run for their money.
Okay, so let's talk about that secret sauce a little bit.
Right.
Affordability, right? One of the key factors there is something called a mixture of experts architecture. MOE for short.
Right.
Sounds complicated.
It does, but it's actually a pretty clever idea.
Break it down for us.
Okay, so instead of one giant AI trying to do everything, MOE divides, think of it like a specialized team, divides the network into these smaller expert units that focus on particular tasks. So when you need the AI to do something specific, only the relevant experts are activated.
So instead of turning on all the lights in the house when you only need one, you just switch on the one you need.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And this targeted activation not only saves on computational resources, but it also makes the AI incredibly efficient.
So they can achieve high performance without breaking the bank.
Exactly.
And speaking of not breaking the bank, their training costs are amazingly low. Like, they managed to train these models on a budget of, get this, just $5.5 million.
That's crazy.
That's a tiny fraction of what OpenAI and these companies spend.
Right. I mean, it really challenges the assumption that, bigger budgets equal better results.
Right. It seems like DeepSeek is proving that innovation and smart engineering can actually outperform, brute force spending.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we talked about the efficiency, but now let's get to the heart of the matter. What can DeepSeek's AI actually do? Their latest model, DeepSeek R1, is getting a lot of attention specifically for its reasoning capabilities.
Right. That's right. DeepSeek R1, it's designed to solve complex problems that require, logical thinking, like step by step. It's almost like it has the ability to really think things through.
And DeepSeek just casually announced R1 on Twitter. No big marketing campaign, no hype. Just boom, here's our new AI. Try it out.
It was a bold move for sure,
Right.
especially considering they already had a reputation for, offering these really impressive free AI tools like their chatbot, DeepSeek V3.
Right. So this one already had document management, web search, and a massive 64,000 token context window, all for free.
All for free, yeah.
It's like they were saying, hey, we're already giving away powerful AI for free, but here's something even better.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how does R1 stack up against the big names, the big AI models out there?
Well, it's not just holding its own. It's actually beating them in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's outperforming OpenAI's O1, which is considered to be one of the best out there.
Whoa, okay, now you've got my attention. Give me some specifics. What kind of benchmarks are we talking about?
Sure. For example, on the AM, the American Invitational Mathematics Examination, DeepSeek R1 had a 52.5% accuracy rate compared to O1 Preview's 44.6%.
Wow.
That's a big difference.
Especially in a field like, advanced mathematics. So it's not just crunching numbers, it's understanding complex mathematical concepts.
Exactly. And it gets even better. On the math benchmark, focusing on competition math problems, DeepSeek R1 scored a 91.6% accuracy,
What?
surpassing O1 Preview at 85.5% and 6%.
That's incredible.
This demonstrates the power of their chain of thought process, which is, well, we haven't really explained that yet, have we?
Yeah, back up for a second. You keep mentioning this chain of thought thing, but I don't know what that is.
Good point. It's basically like teaching the AI to break down those complex problems into smaller, more logical steps so the model can think through the problem, kind of like a human would, leading to more accurate, insightful solutions.
So instead of jumping to conclusions, it's learning to reason through things step by step.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's a big part of why DeepSeek R1 is performing so well in these areas that, require that logical thinking and problem solving.
Yeah.
And it's not just math either. It's also excelling at programming. Yeah, like on Codeforces, a popular platform for competitive programming. DeepSeek R1 scored 1450, beating O1's 1428. And it's even on par with O1 when it comes to, general code generation.
Okay, so this DeepSeek R1 sounds like a real overachiever. It's dominating math, it's a coding whiz, and it does all this while being super efficient.
Yeah.
But you know what they say? There's no such thing as a free lunch. So what's the catch?
Well, there is one catch, but it's a good one.
Okay.
DeepSeek is really committed to making their AI accessible, and that's where their pricing comes in.
Okay, so this is the part where you tell me it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to use this amazing AI.
No, No, not at all. In fact, it's incredibly affordable.
Yeah.
DeepSeek R1's API, it costs 0.19 per million input tokens compared to, $15 for O1. And for output tokens, it's 2.19 per million versus $60 for O1.
Hold on, so you're telling me that's like 30 to 100 times cheaper. Are you sure you're not missing a zero somewhere?
Nope, those are the actual numbers. DeepSeek is really shaking things up.
Yeah, they are.
They're making this powerful AI accessible to a much wider audience.
Okay, so that's pretty game-changing.
Yeah,
But they're not stopping there, right? They've also embraced this whole open source movement.
absolutely. Yeah, they've released 6 distilled versions of R1 open source.
Okay.
It's like taking the knowledge and intelligence from the big model and compressing it into these smaller, more efficient packages.
So wait, they're basically giving away this incredible AI technology for free.
Pretty much.
But hold on, what exactly is this distillation process?
It's a technique for transferring that knowledge from a large, complex AI model into a smaller, more streamlined one. And while those distilled versions may not have all the power of the original R1, they still retain a lot of its intelligence and capabilities.
So like a mini version that's still really powerful.
Yeah. And the best part is, the most powerful distilled version, with 70 billion parameters, still manages to outperform O1 Mini. So even the free versions are packing a serious punch.
This is incredible. High performance, low cost, and open source access to this incredibly powerful AI. Sounds too good to be true. But you know what? We've still got a lot to unpack here, so stay tuned as we dive even deeper into this world of DeepSeek R1.
It's pretty fascinating, this whole DeepSeek thing.
What do you mean?
Well, it kind of highlights this shift we're seeing in, the global AI landscape.
What? How so?
Well, for a long time, people just kind of assumed that, cutting-edge AI, that was mostly a Western thing.
Yeah, like the US was the leader, no question.
Right, exactly. But DeepSeek's proving that innovation can come from anywhere, really. It's a sign that things are changing, becoming more multipolar, when it comes to technology.
So instead of one major force, we'll have multiple centers of innovation, each with their own strengths and approaches.
Yeah, precisely. And I think that's a good thing. It means more competition, hopefully more collaboration, and ultimately, faster progress.
Yeah, and it opens up more opportunities for like countries and communities that might not have had access to this stuff before.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. DeepSeek's focus on, affordability and open source.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, for sure. It's making this technology accessible to so many more people.
To democratizing AI.
Yeah, exactly. And that could have huge ripple effects across different industries and, sectors.
Speaking of ripple effects, it's worth noting that, DeepSeek's rise has also sparked some concerns.
Yeah, of course. I mean, any powerful technology is going to have potential risks, right?
Right, like as some people are worried about data privacy and, misuse, maybe even like the fact that a Chinese company is playing such a big role in AI development. That makes some people nervous.
Yeah, those are valid concerns, for sure. We need to talk about the potential downsides, too, right? No matter who's developing the technology.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we need to figure out the ethical guidelines, some kind of regulations to make sure it's all being used responsibly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And transparency is super important. The more we know about how these AI models work, the better we can address those risks, right?
Makes sense. And that's where DeepSeek's open source approach could actually be a good thing, maybe.
Oh, totally, yeah. By making the models open for everyone to look at, DeepSeek's inviting the whole world to participate in the conversation about responsible AI,
It's like they're opening up the black box saying, hey, here's how it works. Let's make sure we're using it for good.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a bold move,
Mm.
and it could lead to, better and more ethical AI development.
So we've been talking a lot about complex math, coding, global implications, all this stuff. But where does the human element fit into all of this? Is there even room for creativity in this world of DeepSeek R1?
That's a great question. And, even though DeepSeek R1 is known for its logical reasoning and problem solving, I don't see why it couldn't be a great tool for, creative stuff too.
You mean like writing or music or art?
Exactly. It can understand and generate human language, and it's got this huge knowledge base. I mean, it could be an amazing partner for creative exploration.
Like imagine a writer using it to brainstorm ideas, get past writer's block, even collaborate on a story.
Right, or, a musician using it to experiment with different melodies, harmonies, really push the boundaries of their work.
It's like a digital muse who can not only inspire you, but also help you bring those ideas to life.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And this is just the beginning, really. We're only starting to explore what AI like this can do for creativity. It's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, it is. It also brings up some interesting questions, though. If AI can help us create art, music, literature, what does that mean for, human creativity?
Right, right. Does it like diminish our role or does it enhance it? These are questions that, we're going to be thinking about for a long time, I think.
Yeah, it's a fascinating debate for sure. But right now, it's safe to say that DeepSeek R1 has opened up a ton of possibilities, both in terms of practical applications and just pushing those boundaries of what we think is possible.
I totally agree. And as we keep exploring these capabilities, it's important to remember that technology is just a tool,
It's
right?
up to us to decide how to use it, make sure it benefits everyone.
That's the key. Speaking of practical applications, I think it's time to dive into some specific use cases.
Yeah, let's see how this is playing out in the real world. How is DeepSeek R1 making a difference right now?
All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking all about DeepSeek R1, this powerful AI that's really changing the game, right?
Yeah, we've talked about how it works, those benchmark wins, even some like philosophical stuff about creativity and where technology is headed.
Right, exactly. But now let's get down to brass tacks. How is this thing actually being used in the real world? Where is it making a difference, like right now?
Well, one area is software development. It's already having a huge impact. R1's code generation is so good, people are using it to automate tasks, write entire functions, even catch bugs before they become, a problem. So it's like having this super powered coding buddy who not only writes the code but actually understands what it's supposed to do.
Exactly, yeah. And because it's trained on so much code, it can actually generate code that's not just functional, but also, like, well-written,
Yeah.
efficient. And that saves developers a ton of time.
So they can focus on the bigger picture, the more creative stuff.
Exactly. It's like having an extra pair of expert eyes,
Yeah.
to help spot errors and suggest things.
I bet developers are loving this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about new code. It can also analyze existing code, look for vulnerabilities, security issues, make software more reliable.
Okay, so that's pretty amazing. But software development is just one thing. Where else is R1 making an impact?
Well, scientific research is another big one. It can analyze tons of data, find patterns, really valuable for things like drug discovery, genomics, materials
So
science.
it's helping scientists make breakthroughs faster.
Exactly. Imagine a research team trying to develop a new drug,
Hmm.
right? They've got mountains of data, but it's just too much for humans to process.
Right.
That's where R1 comes in. It analyzes everything, finds the most promising leads, and could potentially save, like, years in the process.
Wow, so we're talking about saving lives, improving human health.
Right, exactly. And it's all happening because, someone figured out how to make AI more affordable, more accessible.
It's amazing. It shows that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from challenging the status quo,
Yeah, thinking differently.
But let's get back to the creative side for a minute. What about R1's potential for writing, music, art?
Well, it's early, but there's some really cool experiments going on. Writers are using it to brainstorm, come up with ideas, outline plots, even draft scenes.
So it's like a digital muse helping you overcome writer's block.
Exactly.
Oh.
And because it understands language so well, the results can be really good. It's not about replacing human creativity, though.
Right, it's about collaborating.
Exactly. Working together.
What about music? Can it compose a symphony?
Well, not a whole symphony yet, but it can generate melodies, harmonies, even full musical phrases.
Hmm.
Musicians are using it to experiment, try out different styles. It's like having an AI bandmate,
That's wild. Sounds like the only limit is our imagination, really.
Yeah. But of course, with all this potential, we got to be responsible too, right?
Right, right. We can't just ignore the risks.
We've talked about ethical guidelines, but it's worth repeating. AI is getting more powerful, more common. We need to be very careful about, bias in algorithms, the impact on jobs, even the possibility of misuse.
Yeah, those are serious issues. We can't just brush those aside.
Exactly. This is on all of us. Developers, policymakers, researchers, everyone. We all got to be part of this conversation about how we shape the future of AI, how we make sure it benefits humanity.
So where do we go from here? What's next for DeepSeek R1 and, the future of AI in general?
Hard to say for sure, but one thing's clear. AI is changing fast. It's going to have massive impact on everything, pretty much.
It's a really exciting time. And as these models get even better, even more accessible, I think we're going to see even more incredible innovations in, medicine, tech, art, you name it.
It's up to us to make sure those innovations are used for good,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
To create a better future. That's the goal.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into DeepSeek R1 and I guess the whole world of AI. We hope you've learned something and maybe you're even inspired to, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.